Hello children. On the other day, I told you something about verbs and it was left in between. So today, I'll tell you something more about the same topic, verbs. In the previous video, I told you verb basically it is divided into two parts, transitive verb and intransitive. And later, you were told transitive verbs also they are further divided into two major parts, and these are finite verbs and non-finite verbs. Okay, about finite I told you. Okay, the verb that changes according to subject, according to tense, that is a finite verb. And when any verb that does not change according to the subject that is there in the sentence, that is a non-finite verb. Now the same finite verb, it is further divided into two parts. This is very crucial thing that I am telling you, that finite verb it is further divided into two major types, and these are ordinary verbs and auxiliary verbs. Ordinary verbs basically these are those verbs that have these three forms. Okay, like present form, past form, and past participle. Means these are the forms I am telling you. Okay, it has one progressive form also. Progressive form, ing form, and any ing, it is always used with first form. So present form it is denoted with first form, past it is denoted with second form, third it is denoted with uh, means past participle. Okay, so these are ordinary verbs. Okay, the next is very important. This is auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verb, auxiliary means helping, popularly known as helping verbs. So helping verbs means the verbs that normally come before the main verb. Okay. Any sentence like he is coming to me. The verb here it is coming, main verb, and the other word is that is helping verb. So helping verb term, this term it is quite familiar with the children. But that auxiliary verb it is quite different. So today I will tell you that auxiliary verbs also these are further divided into two major parts. Auxiliary verbs also these are of two types. First is primary auxiliary and the second is modals. Primary auxiliaries basically these are the forms of be, such as ismr and was the. Okay, in this we consider these things also had have, and these are also subject specific. Means according to subject we use them. But when we talk about models, these models, these are always situational. Okay, like when we talk about primary auxiliary, so these are subject specific. Suppose we are using this subject, so we will think that we should use at least singular helping verb. Like if I am to use between these two is M, so I'll be using M. But it will not happen here when we use models. Models are situationals. Okay, these are little bit conditional. According to condition, according to consequence, according to some situation, we use them models. Okay, so means when we talk about the complete chapter of verb, model itself it's a means different chapter. We will discuss this particular chapter in detail. Models these are 13 in number. Okay, So I told you models and primary auxiliaries. Means primary auxiliary and model, these are quite different. Models we use according to situation, and primary auxiliaries, these are subject specific. Clear? So further means one type I have just explained here, that is finite. Like finite verbs, these are divided into two verbs, ordinary and auxiliary verb. Now one again it remains there, and that is non-finite. Non-finite, about it I have already told you. Once again I am repeating. Non-finites are those verbs which do not change with the change in the subject. Listen, once again I am giving one example. Like I make him laugh daily. Next sentence. He makes me laugh daily. See, there are two verbs in each sentence: make, laugh, makes, laugh. And see the change in which verb there is some kind of change. Only in this verb, laugh, this verb there is no change. So when there is a change in the verb according to the change in the subject. Earlier in the first sentence there is the use of first person. In the second sentence there is a use of third person singular. So there this verb we have done some kind of changes. In the same way means when there is change according to the subject, so that verb will be finite. And when there is no change in the verb, whether there is change in the subject, whether there is change in the type of the sentence, whether there is change of text in the sentence. So that verb is non-finite. So non-finite, these are further divided into three major categories. Non-finite, these are further divided into three major categories. Okay. So now I tell you one by one those once again. First, it is infinitive. It's a complete different chapter. Non-finite. Infinitive, basically you can consider infinitive that it is first form. Infinitive, it is further divided into two parts. Bare infinitive. Bare infinitive, bare means without. So when we use first form without to, when we use first form without to, that is known as bare infinitive. Okay, you will be told in detail where means what are the rules under which circumstances we use first form without to. Next is to infinitive. Means what are the situations, what are the conditions where we use to first form. Okay, so it's a complete chapter. Listen, next is it is gerund. Gerund, basically it is referred by first form ing, and it's another name. Gerund's another name, it is verbal. Means it does the work of a verb, but it does the work of a noun also. How it does, it will be told later. Okay, so infinitive and gerund. Third one is very very important. These are participles. Okay, so in participles we have three types. Participles. First, it is present participle. Present participle, it is denoted with first form ing. There is a similarity. Means present participle, it is denoted with first form ing. Gerund, it is also denoted with first form ing. What is the difference? I will make it clear soon. Second, it is past participle. It is past participle. It is used means accordingly, means it is also means considered with third form. Third one, it is perfect participle. Perfect participle, it is denoted with having third form. Okay, so these are the things I'll tell you later. Means uh, which are the rules, which are the situation in which we use all these things. Okay, it's a very important chapter. It is as good, means if after means clearing all your doubts about this chapter, uh, you will feel a little bit change when you speak or when you write, if you are able to uh, means do some kind of practical according to these things. Okay, so before we move, let me tell you what is the difference between present participle and gerund. Listen. Say I am writing here two sentences, and with those two sentences it will be quite clear what is present participle and what is gerund. Listen. Dancing is a light exercise. Next sentence. She purchased a dancing toy. See, in the first sentence, we have got this word dancing. In the second sentence also, we have got this word. Now we have to find out which one is gerund and which one is present participle. Listen, I told you, gerund, it is also used as verbal noun. Verbal noun means when gerund is equally used as a subject, as an object, and it refers to not only the activity but also it does the work of a subject also. See here, dancing is a light exercise. It does not mean that activity is going on. Okay, it means it's a kind of activity. It is mentioned dancing, singing, swimming. These are activities, and about that it has been told. Clear? Then she purchased a dancing toy. It means this toy, which is a noun, its adjective has been told. So when any ing word does the work of an adjective, that is known as present participle. Okay. So very simple thing. When you use any ing word independently as a subject, as an object, and it does the work of a noun, it does the work of verb also. So that is a gerund. And when you find any ing word doing the work of an adjective, so that will be a kind of means that will be treated as present participle. Clear? So in the next video, I'll be telling you in detail about the usage of non-finites. Okay, stay tuned for that thing.